Americans are facing what could be the largest tax increase in generations. When President Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed in 2017, liberals screamed about how it would only benefit the rich and corporations, how it would reward companies that offshore American jobs, and how it would be a disaster for the middle class. Now we know how wrong they were. The TCJA let Americans keep more of their own money, turbocharged jobs and wage growth, and drove the booming economy of Trump's first term. Now, those gains are in danger. Large portions of TCJA are set to expire at the end of 2025, which means Americans could be facing the largest tax increase in generations. Let's debunk some popular myths about TCJA and look at what's at stake if parts of the bill expire this year. Myth number 1. TCJA was only a tax cut for the rich. TCJA cut taxes for Americans in all income groups. The fact is that low and middle income Americans paid a smaller share of income taxes after TCJA than they did before it. The second common misconception is that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act only benefited corporations, not workers or the broader economy. But the numbers tell a different story. In the 2 years after the passage of TCJA and before COVID, the unemployment rate hit a 50-year low of 3.5%. Real median household income rose by 7.2% in 2019, the highest on record dating back to 1985. Home ownership was growing like it hadn't in 15 years, all while inflation was kept in check. Another myth was that TCJA would reward companies for offshoring American jobs. The reality is that prior to TCJA, corporate inversions were commonplace, where U.S. companies would put their headquarters and operations overseas to avoid U.S. taxes. But after TCJA, large corporate inversions stopped, and in many cases were reversed. We also saw a lot of scaremongering about charitable giving decreasing after TCJA, but that wasn't the case. Charitable giving increased 11% by 2019 compared to 2016. The facts are clear. Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was good for Americans. That's why Congress should ensure that the pro-growth reforms in the legislation are renewed. 15 major TCJA provisions are set to expire or change at the end of 2025. What would be the effects? Individual tax rates would increase, which means the government taking more of your hard-earned money. The child tax credit would be cut in half, from $2,000 to $1,000. The standard deduction would be cut nearly in half. More Americans would lose family farms due to the estate tax exemption being lowered. Businesses would face higher taxes as the pass-through deduction and expensing for machinery and equipment would expire, hitting small businesses especially hard. Those higher business costs would be passed on to consumers. Bottom line, Congress must act to extend and hopefully improve upon the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. If they don't, American workers, businesses, and the economy will suffer.